I don't know if that was like the longest lead into this show. We usually wait until it pops up on the YouTube, but it was like over 30 seconds. Ridiculous.
Took way too long.
Way too long.
All right, well, happy Sunday, y'all.
Hello, happy Sunday, y'all. Y'all.
Y'all.
Apparently, y'all is a cool thing for the Utes to say these days.
Is it? Even if they're not from the South?
Yeah. Well, are you from the South?
No, I was not a kid. I
So
was
you
trying not
to be like a Ute?
I wasn't trying to be like a Ute.
Mm-hmm.
I just find that I say it more, and I don't know why. I think it's because I have friends that say it. Who knows?
Who knows? Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. Oh, we actually have like blue sky outside, which is nice because it's been like rainy and cloudy and yucky here. So it's nice that the weather is finally cooperating and being nice.
I don't know. Happy St. Patrick's Day for anyone that is Irish American and celebrates, because we all know people in Ireland do not celebrate St. Patrick's Day.
Well, I'm pretty sure nobody that's Irish in America, it doesn't really matter what you are. Everybody celebrates it.
Yeah, well,
It's
St.
just a
Patrick's
reason to go out
Day,
and get
Cinco de
drunk.
Mayo. It's the reason to drink green beer.
Yeah.
Which is pretty gross, to be
Crystal
honest with
likes
you.
your cute space buns.
Thank you. I can never do them as cute as you, because she has like this gorgeous thick hair, and my hair is just all lopsided and weird. But anyway, I tried. They're kind of cute.
When I see Frankie and Tracy are here today.
Frankie's not laying down some tracks this week.
Apparently, there's not some TV show they'd rather be watching on.
Or the
What
football.
was the show? I don't remember what the show was.
I don't know. I'm just, football, something. We got nothing going on. This is why people are here.
What's up? We've pretty much just been working for the most part, not leaving the house.
Except.
Well, I'm not done yet. Jeez, jump the gun.
Sorry about it.
Anyway, we've just been not going anywhere, which I'm totally happy with. Plus, because we have a lot of traveling we're going to be doing next month, so we really need to like kind of hit it hard right now. I'm way behind on my draft bank. I feel like it's stressing me out. But we did get to go to a friend's birthday party, but they had it at their friend's house, so we didn't know this friend. We'd never been to their house before. We pulled up and I was like, are we in the right place? Is this like an apartment building? What is this? It's like, no, it's an entire house.
It was a manch. It was a true manch.
It's like their villa. Seriously, it was the most awesome house ever.
We joke, like, this house is ridiculously big for two people to live in, but it's not a mansion. It's just, it's like, it's like 3,400 square feet, which is big. I'm not saying it's not, but this is not a mansion. This house was a full-on mansion. They had a full basketball court in the backyard. There was
a soccer field.
A soccer field in the backyard. A full pool with a built-in grotto. It looked like
it was super cool.
The Playboy Mansion grotto pictures. They had an in-ground trampoline. What else do they have back there? Full basketball court, foosball. This is just the backyard. And we were only in the kitchen and like the backyard and like the
it was really fun. We got to play
area.
ping pong and do a bunch of fun stuff. And they had delicious, amazing food. And
they had a chef that was there, private chef in the backyard cooking all the food. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was for our friend's birthday party. They both have their birthdays in the same month. So husband and wife, and they had a joint birthday party there. We had so much fun. Our friend Britt was there because Britt introduced us to James and Ari.
Yeah.
Whose party it was. And the house was redonkulous. The best part was they had 3 dogs.
Well, and the owners, the hosts, they were super nice and super awesome. And our friend Ari is Brazilian, so a lot of the people there were Brazilian. And there was a lot of Brazilian food. It was delicious.
It was so yummy.
And apparently they like to eat yummy food throughout the whole party. So there was just like constant... Like the guy that was running like the grills was just making this amazing steak, and he just cut it up into little bite-sized pieces and just constantly be putting it out. So you just be like, oh, walk by, grab a piece of steak. It was ridiculous.
The food was really good.
Vicky says I need to step up my game so I can get that for her. I'm like, yeah, it's probably not going to happen.
I told her that she needs to hurry up and become a millionaire so that she can keep me in the lifestyle I would like to become accustomed to.
And I said I'm already accustomed to it. I want just constant steak bites ready at all times. But whatever. I mean, the problem is neither of us have, even if our businesses were doing a lot better right now, neither of us have a model set up to where we would ever get to that point. But, you can dream.
Never know.
But
the lottery. We could hit the lottery if we played the lottery.
Yeah, that's a different thing.
If there was a lottery.
We do have to play the lottery in order to do that. But it was fun to get to spend time with them, and it was like our one time out of the house.
all week.
You stayed home so much that like you're already starting to be like to other people. So
I am.
You were like, you didn't want to go, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna have fun. I was the one going, come on, we got to go. It's gonna be so much fun. And that was before I even knew what the place was gonna look like. So
I'm usually the more social of us, for sure. Lately I haven't been. The last 6 months or so I haven't been feeling super socially. I kind of hate people. But you know, we usually get somewhere, and I'm definitely the more social person. And Katie has like an hour or two and then her social battery is done, and she's like, "Okay, I'm done."
But I really loved
me yesterday.
Ari and James, and I knew there was going to be karaoke there and Brazilian food. I knew the food was going to be crazy, and I love Brit, so it's like I was like, you know, I'm down. I'm
See, Alana says people are very hateable. 100% agree. Yeah. So you know, I don't get me wrong. I joke. I don't hate people. I love my people. I don't love the rest of the general public. Let's be clear. And you are all my people.
Yeah. But we met a lot of new people last night that were super friendly and nice, and actually had a really great time. I know for me, like talking to people I don't know at all, it can really be super draining just because I am actually an introvert. But I had a really good time. And like Vicky said, they had 3 dogs, and the neighbor had 2 and brought his dogs over. And then there were 5 dogs, but they were all big dogs. So they were just like,
but they were pitties, and there were 2
golden retriever. There was a golden lab and 2, a yellow lab and 2. Well, there's like a golden retriever, and I think the other one was like a more of a reddish color. But anyway, they were all really cute. So I got to have lots of good puppy time.
Lots of puppy loving.
Yep. Anyway, this is our regular Sunday show, and you know, we break it up into 3 parts. The first part, we look at our numbers, our real numbers for the last week, all our different platforms. We look at the costs, like shipping, fees, cost of goods, most importantly. In the middle part of our show, we look at our sales highlights for the last week, some of the cool stuff we sold, educational, maybe something that we've had forever and we're glad to finally have it out of our inventory. And then the last part is
at least once a week.
Yeah, and then the last part is where we kind of talk about our goals from last week and what we want our goals next week to be, and we kind of have a discussion around my title that Vicky never knows what it is until I really post it. This week it's Diversified Sourcing Solutions. Once we get into that conversation, she'll know where I'm going with it. But before we get into that, I wanted to do this right at the top of the show because I know not everybody watches the whole show.
Some people tune in just for the highlights. Some people tune in just for the numbers,
and that's fine.
And some people fast forward through our blathering, which is fine too.
But I wanted to right here at the top of the show talk about something a little more somber, and I don't know if we've talked about it on our channel at all yet. If we've even said anything about it,
we have not.
You guys know that a few weeks ago we went to up to Washington to see our friend Lorna and spend a few days with her, and that is because in like the end of September, beginning of October, she actually went to the ER because she was having like major back pain. She had kind of felt like she had thrown her back out or pulled something. She was having some issues with her dog, who has since passed, but she was in so much pain she went to the ER, and they diagnosed her at the ER with cancer. And it was everywhere, and it still is. It's all in her bones, her hips, her pelvis, and it,
her blood, her jaw.
And her jaw. Once they got into it, they were finally able to find out that it actually was breast cancer. She had a tumor that was undiagnosed. She didn't know she had it, and it had metastasized everywhere before they found it. And so, because of how far it's spread in her body already, she's not going to survive it.
Correct.
It's just a matter of time. I mean, she could have years. She could have, less. It's like, we really don't know. But right now she's really, really struggling. And so that's why we traveled in February, even though it wasn't ideal for potential weather problems and stuff like that.
Now, we just wanted to say a couple of things. So a lot of you guys know Lorna from the reselling world. We all met her. I met her in 2016. Katie met her in 2017.
She's my longest reselling friend. She's the very first reselling friend I ever met in person.
Yeah.
In 2017. So she's my very first in-person reselling friend.
So she's a dear friend. She was actually here helped me orchestrate it when I proposed to Katy years ago.
She was here for the proposal.
She was here for the proposal. We travel back and forth. She comes to visit us. We go to visit her, and we've done this for many, many years now. She's a very good friend of ours.
She's been on our channel before a few times.
Yep, she's been on our channel a few times. She used to go to eBay Open and all that kind of stuff, and she's still a reseller. So one of the things is that she's young. Okay.
She's I think a couple years younger than me.
She's 42, 43. All of us, cancer has touched all of us at some point. We've talked about it when we did our GoFundMe a few years ago for our friend Greg DuPage-Picker, who thankfully survived his very real scary bout with cancer. Yeah. We've talked about and shared with everyone our friend Diane Lassan's journey. Diane is still with us as well, thank God.
But like Lorna, both of them, their diagnoses, I don't know. A lot of times you have people being like, you're going to fight this, you're going to win, you're going to beat cancer, like it happened with Greg. But in both of their cases, it's like, that's just not where it's going to go. And, it's like, it can sound kind of harsh to say that, but it's like, we just want people to understand, like, it is the reality. It's not a matter of her fighting harder or finding a better treatment. So the reality is that she is receiving treatment and aggressive treatment at that, almost daily at this point. In order to help reduce some of her pain, to slow and stop. She's in a lot of pain right now. To slow and stop the spread and the progression of disease, and buy her as much time and quality of life as possible. Now that could be 6 months, it could be 6 years. Yeah. We're hoping for the long end, right? Aren't we all? So that being said, she not only lost her dog shortly after that happened, and her dog was her baby, but she also lost her job at the end of last year. They were not able to keep her job for her. She was only working part-time, and it was difficult for her to even do that, but she did lose her job. She's, for people who know Lorna, she has struggled financially for a number of years with her reselling business, as a lot of us have. And a couple of years ago, I don't remember exactly when it was, she finally was like, I need to get a job, like a job where I have a, steady income coming in. And so that really helped her and her partner, Pat, a lot. And then unfortunately, Pat, this last fall, I think it was in the fall, or was it the summer?
It's been over a year.
Oh, has it been over a year that he lost his job, and he's working, but he's making far less money than he was before. And now Lorna's not able to work, even though she's literally pushing herself to list every day. And she's not physically in the place where she should be doing that, but she has to because of finances.
So the reality is that we're not trying to be Debbie Downers here, but the reality is I think all of us know that we're just one major illness away from losing everything. I think that's the reality for most Americans, unfortunately. I know that's my reality. That's Katy's reality. I know that we've seen that, and know that for many, many people in this chat, as well as all of us, have some sort of personal connection to someone who's battled some type of difficult illness. All that to say, she finally agreed to let us create a GoFundMe account, and there is a GoFundMe. The link is down below, and we will talk about it a little bit. All of the money is going to help her with day-to-day expenses and anything that her insurance is not covering. There are some treatments that she has had to receive that insurance do not cover. She had to have dental surgery last week. Thankfully, they worked with her, but
they weren't going to at first.
They weren't going to, and the dental surgery had to happen before she was able to have one of her cancer treatments. Because they could not be done. It's a whole thing. Yeah.
They basically said to the dental surgeon, take out whatever teeth are going to be potentially an issue over the next 3 years, because she cannot have any kind of surgery like that while she's taking this treatment. It had to be done. And at first it was going to be $5,000 up front, because she doesn't have dental insurance.
She's trying to figure out how to buy herself in her, buy groceries and keep the electricity on. There is no $5,000 slush fund sitting around the house. So thankfully her doctor is her dentist, the dental surgeon. They worked with her cancer team, her whole oncology team, and he was very sympathetic to her needs and basically made it happen. They made the surgery happen, and I think they know that the money that they're going to put on the books is not going to be paid quickly, if at all. So here's the thing. First of all, check your boobs. As Allison is saying in there right now, male, female, check yourself. Breast cancer does not discriminate. And, yes, you should be doing self-exams, but over the age of 40, you should be going to a breast cancer screening. You should be getting a mammogram. And as Allison says, there are free facilities to go and do that, whether you have insurance or not. Preventative care is the best type of care. All of that else being said, we did create a GoFundMe for Lorna. We're not going to talk about this all the time. This is to give us couple more minutes of grace here, please. But put it up today. If you are able to donate, every little bit helps. This is not going to for somebody to have parties. You know what I mean? This is a very, very dire. Her electricity was turned off last week. They were able to get it turned back on after several hours, and then of course, it was, the bill was short by $30, and then they gave, hit her with $100 fee to turn it back on. This type of living on the edge that many of us do and know and understand and have been there. I know I've been there. It's not for lack of trying. It's not for lack of trying to work. It's not, this is just circumstances that are beyond our control. So if you have a little bit to donate, please do. It is going to the right place. I am handling the GoFundMe for her to make sure her bills are paid directly, so that she is not burdened with having to try to prove where this extra income comes from.
Right.
Because she's so on the edge with trying to get assistance and help with things.
We only started this like a couple hours ago because we've been kind of holding off for when the right time. And we actually were going to start it because of the whole dentist issue. But luckily the dentist, I think he maybe had a bad night's sleep and realized that he needed to do the right thing. I mean, I get that they can't just give it away, but, that he was able to reduce the cost for her and she can pay it in small monthly installments over.
They needed it originally paid 100% up front because even though she has the medical coverage, medical doesn't cover dental. So they were able to change the coding on some of the things and get some of it covered medically, and the rest of it, he kind of just said, you know what, pay me what you can. We're just going to get it done. Yeah. So thankfully, she had a compassionate dental surgeon that did see her as a human being and not just as a number on the books. Right. Unfortunately, that is what all too often happens in the American healthcare system. It is difficult. And anyway, if you're able to donate, please do. Even if you can't donate, believe me, sharing the GoFundMe makes a huge difference. I've had several friends that do not know Lorna already contribute just because of me sharing it. And so if you could do the same, that would really help us out.
And if you don't know Lorna, I just want to say, like, she has given so much of herself and so much of her time. She's run fundraisers. They used to do an annual fundraiser every year for their local food bank. She's put in so much time to help other people, and she's one of those people who would do anything for anybody. And she's such a good friend and such a good person, and it's just, it's really, we're struggling a lot just trying to comprehend like that this is happening. I'm really grateful that we were able to go see her, and we'll see her again. But we felt it was really, really important. We needed to make sure that we could go and visit her because it had been a few years. Just because of circumstances.
Just because of COVID, and she had a dog that was like crazy and couldn't leave him with a dog sitter very often. And so, yeah, it had been a couple of years since we had seen her. And we used to see each other 2-3 times a year.
Yeah, we used to bring her out here for like a week at a time, but because of her dog and stuff, that became a lot more difficult. So.
And right now she's not up to traveling. So we went to her, and we will go again. And hopefully she gets to the point where these treatments help her feel a little bit better physically, so she is able to travel and come visit as well. So she is a pretty humble person. This was difficult for her to ask for help, and I kind of talked her into it. Most people do not want to ask for help when they need help. But
and she is working with I don't know what exactly the person.
She has a social worker,
like a social worker who is helping her try to navigate any of the local services and help. So just know that she has somebody like helping her with that.
She is advocating for herself and helping and has someone that is helping her advocate for herself and navigate the system. But I think all of us know that have been here at some point or another, either with ourselves or with a loved one. The system is set up for people to give up. The systems are set up for people to fail. It is not an easy process to self-advocate at the point, especially when you are dealing with chemo fog and brain fog and excruciating pain and trying to stay up on top of your medications every 2.5 to 3.5 hours and all of the things that she's doing on top of trying to survive and sell online just so she can pay her electric bill.
Well, and then there's other things where it's like, her name isn't on the mortgage. Her name isn't on any of the utility bills. So a lot of times help that's out there, you have to show like where your costs are. And on paper, it looks like she doesn't have to pay for anything. And that's just not the reality. You all know that like all of the bills in our house right now are in Vicki's name. It's just because she's the one that pays the bills and I give her money. But it looks like I don't pay for anything. So... it's just all those things kind of stack up to make it harder and harder and harder. And then a couple weeks ago, all of a sudden their washer stopped working. And it's like, you can't just not have a washer. So anyway.
when it rains, it pours. I think we've all been there. So anything you can do to help, even if you can share, it is much appreciated. And please know that everything is going for the bare necessities. And those of you that have already donated, I see the donations. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Yeah. All right, so we just wanted to put that out there. We wanted to get it out there. Also, Vikki has on her Facebook page, she made it a public post, sharing the GoFundMe as well. So that's another way that you can very easily share it on your
Heather, I do not know her eBay store name off the top of my head, but I will find it. And we'll put it in the comment section of this video down below after for any of you that might want to shop from her.
She's got some cool stuff.
She does have some cool stuff. So anybody that may want to shop, that helps almost as much for sure.
Yeah.
And then you get something for your, for your efforts.
When we went there, we had a haul video that was a couple haul videos. There was some stuff that I found there. She got some stuff too, and she's already listed all of it and cross-posted all of it. Like, she's really pushing herself way too hard to do that.
And I have her doing my cross-posting for me rather than my person that was doing it before, in order to give her a little bit of income every week as well. So we're doing what we can on our part. And, I think those of us that know and understand what this process is about, there's very little else you can do other than try to help financially.
Yep.
So that's what we're trying to do.
Absolutely. All right. Let's go ahead. Ooh, it just went up over $700. Awesome. Very, very cool. But yeah, every little bit counts. All right, let's get into our show. We're going to look at our numbers for this last week. I didn't see any kind of like huge jump. It's like I'm putting in all this work and I do see improvements, but it's so slow. It's so slow. Hold on a second. There it is. Anyway, so you can see, I think I had like 45 outgoing orders last week, and this week it's 46. So I had 27 eBay orders, 9 Etsy orders. Etsy really came through for me pretty good this week. 4 Poshmark orders, and then 6 between Grail, Mercari, and Depop for a total of 46 outgoing orders. My eBay, it's pretty close to what it was last week. It's like I can't... It's just, eBay's so weird lately. It really is. It's hard to navigate, but $1,285.30. Etsy, $796.22. Poshmark, pretty slow, $152. And then Grail, Mercari, and Depop together were $245. So I almost hit $2,500, which I think is the most I've had probably in over a year in a week. I don't think I've gone this high. So
you're doing good.
I know. It's just very, very slow, but I'm going to keep going. Obviously, $211.81 for shipping. You can see all the fees there. Cost of goods, $180. My net total sales there, $1,799.07.
I think you can round that to $1,800.
Oh, okay.
I'll allow it.
My gross average sale price, $53.88. I'm very happy with that. Try and keep it above $50, especially right now with how much lower my pricing has become. But it is working to do that. So my net average sale price, $39.11. So yeah, it's like, I feel it's enough to keep me motivated, but it's also like, there's a little bit of frustration of like, okay, I've been doing this now. I haven't missed a single day since November 12th. So
well, you're not going to like double your income.
I'm not saying that, but it's like, I want to see like some substantial movement, but I am seeing it. It is happening.
That's good. That's good for you.
Listen, let me have a freaking good moment.
No,
here.
You can have
I
your
get
moment.
That you're struggling with yours, but it is happening. I feel like my work is paying off. It's just like a very slow and steady thing. What I really need to be doing is devoting more time to ending old listings and completely overhauling those listings so that they're new. But I'm working so hard on the other stuff. It's hard to make myself do that. All right, what do you got going on here?
Apparently the same as you, because my numbers are almost identical. 31 eBay orders, 11 on Etsy, 6 on Poshmark, 4 on Mercari. I had no sales on Depop. I've been back on Depop for about a month or so. I don't have a ton on there, but I've only had 2 orders. So for a total of 52 outgoing orders. $1,550 on eBay. That's at least $1,000 too low for me, but it is what it is. $478 on Etsy, $300 even on Poshmark, and $179.25 on Mercari. So my total gross sales just over $2,500 for the week. $238 in shipping, and then you see the breakdown of all the different platform fees. And then my total cost of goods is always low. I am lucky for that. I am able to acquire goods fairly cheaply. So $126 for my cost of goods left me as a net profit of $18.31 for the week.
And your goal, you would like that to be at least
$2,500.
$2,500, your net. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and just jump right into our sales highlights. Ooh, well, you've got some serious Y2K action going on this last week.
I do. I've sold quite a few of the some Y2K stuff. That is truly the hottest thing right now. I think those of us that sell clothing or vintage clothing do know that 90s and Y2K are the hottest fashion, at least with the Utes.
Yep.
So this is really Y2K. I wouldn't have even called Affliction vintage, but it truly is like mid to late 2000 before.
To be honest, I'm calling pretty much anything within that decade vintage. So.
Yeah, it's just because it's having a resurgence, and that's how the kids are looking at it.
Yeah.
I know vintage is 20 years, 25 years really, 20 years according to Etsy, 25 in the rest of the world. Etsy just created a phenomenon.
Everybody pretty much accepts a 20-year mark.
Yeah, about 20 years. So anyway, this is an Affliction shirt. Affliction, people were still wearing Affliction and thinking it was cool 8 years ago, but it's back again. I don't know. Anyway.
Well, it's funny because it's back again, but to a completely different demographic. And I don't just mean age.
It is, because I have rocker friends that still wear it and think it's cool now.
Right, but it was made cool by, like, rockers. Now the people who are into it are, like, not
Are, like,
rockers,
17 years old.
But it's not even just that. Like, they're not rockers. They're not that group of people. So it's just very different.
It's the kids wearing the Jenko jeans with them. It's very weird. Affliction and Ed Hardy and that. Anyway, I don't care as long as they buy it, right? Mm-hmm. So I wish I had kept all the Affliction stuff that and steady stuff that I wore back then. Anyway, so this was a bins find. It sold fairly quickly. It sold within a month or so for $52.
Nice. Very nice. All right, this first one I have. So I wanted to share this. I didn't sell it for that price. I actually sold it for $45. But I've had this for a while now, and I'm pretty sure I got this at the bins, in which case I would have only spent like $1 on it. But you know, sometimes you get an offer and they give you this whole, not necessarily sob story, but they give you this whole paragraph of stuff of why they want it and why you should sell it to them for a lower price, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of times you're just like, whatever, and I'll just hit decline or whatever, or counter. But first of all, $45, I was very happy to sell it for $45. They sent me the offer, and they basically said that they actually work at this Old Globe Theater, and they actually run the youth program there. And this was like a camp for kids, I think.
They had to have that
back
shirt.
in the 80s, and so they're like, I'm sorry if this is too low of an offer, but I really feel I would really love to have this shirt and wear it.
It belongs with them.
And I was like, yeah, I love that. It's like I rescued this t-shirt, and now it's going to exactly the person that should have it and wear it, and so I think that's really, really cool, and I was very excited about it. So, Frankie says Affliction was a little much for the rocker look. Yeah.
I look at my friends that go on the Monsters of Rock cruises still, and I haven't been on one in 10 years, but I used to go on them, and everybody was wearing them 10 years ago, wearing Affliction 10 years ago on those cruises, and they still are. I think the only people that are wearing Affliction, still wearing it, that are not wearing it as a resurgence, are people like that are our age and still trying, that still think they're cool, but it's not cool.
Yeah. I'm pretty cool, but I don't wear Affliction. Listen, the sob story, I honestly, I separate myself from it. To me, it's like, if it's too low of an offer, I'm not going to accept it just because somebody tells me this story. Sometimes, you really feel like they're manipulated. They're like, I have to have this. Won't you take $5 for it? Then yeah, that really irritates me. But if I have taken lower offers than I wanted to before because they made me laugh. I've had people say something funny that I just...
Or it's a good story. Sometimes if it's a good story, I'd be into it.
But, so I was actually okay with it. It was funny though.
Allison, you and Brett Michaels practically share a birthday. By the way, everybody say happy birthday to Allison. It was her birthday this week. I did not reach out to you.
Oh, happy birthday. I didn't even know.
I'm a shitty friend. I did not reach out to you. I'm sorry.
Vicky is a shitty friend.
I did know it was your birthday.
She didn't even tell me it was your birthday.
And her and Brett Michaels share a birthday week because it was Brett Michaels' birthday the other day as well. And they're probably, the same age? 61, 62?
I was teasing Vicky because every single day this week, I keep seeing on my Facebook feed, Vicky wishing different people happy birthday.
Well, Allison's never on Facebook, so I wasn't going to
But whatever, I'm just saying, all I'm saying is, because she didn't wish you a happy birthday, Allison, I didn't even know. So I'm sorry that Vicky is such a horrible person, because she really is terrible. All right, let me go ahead and look at your next item. What you got? See, Y2K. Look at that.
Yeah, more Y2K. This is Rock Republic. So this would have been like mid 2000s Rock Republic, early 2000s Rock Republic. Rock Republic was not always sold. This is the Made in the USA Rock Republic. I've talked about this a couple of times before. This is Victoria Beckham, Posh Spice for Rock Republic. Now, the Made in the USA Rock Republic was before it sold out to Kohl's and became a lesser quality product. It used to be a higher end product.
Look, there's Lorna wishing Allison a happy birthday, Buffalo. Speaking of Buffalo, Allison, I actually have a little prezi for you when we see you next month. So, yes, it has something to do with buffaloes.
So these were a bins find. I paid probably $2 for them at the bins, and they sold fairly quickly as well. I hadn't even put them away yet from having them listed, so they sold for $56 plus shipping. I love teasing Allison. She's like, I'm the same age as you, 58, asshole. I'm 48, Allison. She's such a jerk. Anyway, so keep an eye out for the nicer Rock Republic. Like the Rock Republic stuff from Kohl's, the t-shirts, that kind of stuff is probably dresses, whatever. Not super fantastic, but when you find the older Rock Republic, Made in the USA Rock Republic, pick it up. Pick it up.
All right. So this wasn't like a crazy sale or anything, but I was at the bins a few weeks back and I found 3 different Southwest Airlines jackets. None of them were that crazy of jackets, anything special. A couple of them had, some marks on them. I think all of them had some sort of marks or spots on them. So, but I grabbed them because Vikki is the same. We pretty much grab anything airline related, but the Southwest stuff, it always sells. And so I went ahead and grabbed it, and it was crazy because I've already sold 2 of the 3 jackets. Like one I sold for $40, it had some issues, and then this one sold for the price you see there, $48.99. So it's not like you're going to make a bazillion dollars, but
they sell fairly quickly.
It's a good bet. You price it right, they're gonna sell quickly. Like I said, it's never gonna be like a $200 jacket. But pick up the airline stuff. I only have one. I sold them like one after another too. At first I was like, did I sell that to the same person? But nope, it wasn't.
So it's nice to have Lorna in the chat. Do not go back and watch the first few minutes of the video because she's going to get all embarrassed. We talked about her for quite a few minutes, but she did not see that. She does know we're doing the GoFundMe, so yeah. There is that.
She can't stop us.
She can't stop it. So this was something, these sold within about 48 hours. I may have underpriced them a little bit, but I was looking for other vintage patch lots, and you can see I didn't even turn the photos over. Who cares?
I'm horrified.
You should be.
What the fuck?
These cost me nothing.
I can't believe I just used the F-bomb. That's how upsetting it was for me to see it. Vikki's always, and that just came out without me even thinking about it, but I'm looking at these pictures and I'm like, what is wrong with her?
Look, the top one and the bottom one are fine.
What? Here's some sideways close-ups for you guys.
Yep. Didn't stop it from selling, did it?
Unbelievable.
80-20 rule. Anyway, these didn't cost me anything. I have a whole bunch to go through, and I'm just trying to lot them individually. Patches are not really worth a heck of a lot. But if you have similar patches, you can lot them together, and that's what I did. I lotted these together. They're all North America. There are a few Canada ones in there. That's why I said Nova Scotia. North America. Nova Scotia, eh? There's all different stuff like that. So there was Niagara Falls, which could have been the U.S. side or the Canada side. I'm not sure. It didn't say.
It's the dinosaur.
But anyway, they were vintage. They were unused. And that's it. They took me all of a couple of minutes to list. And they sold in about 48 hours.
Yeah. Ridiculous. All right. Next up for me is this Nelson t-shirt. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to...
After the rain. Sorry.
No, stop it. One of the reasons I want to show is I didn't sell it for that much. I sold it for $50. I'd sent out an offer for $50. They accepted. I actually had this priced a lot higher, but I've had this shirt now for a couple of years probably. And this is one of the ones that I ended. I changed. This originally was the main photo. And so what Vikki and I both are doing with our old listings is basically just changing the first photo, because that helps with, like, you want it to be a brand new listing and to be indexed in Google and not be associated with your old listing in any way. And then I have a completely different title structure that I use now. So this is one of the things that I've sold by ending and then setting up a whole new listing. But one of the things I wanted to rant about while we're here, because I didn't see this until I was setting it up on Vikki's computer, and I was like, WTF? I knew this already happened before. This is one of the problems with being amazing at taking photos like myself, is people a-holes like to steal my photos and my titles and create their crappy, unlicensed, fake garbage.
Where is
and
it?
it gets
Did you
listed.
see it?
I'm going to show it right now. So look at this. Look at what happens when you look at this. That is my photo. Those are
and your title.
That's my photo, my title. Every single listing is absolutely disgusting. And I have brought this up multiple times to eBay. I get that they constantly make new
selling
accounts, or there's selling accounts that are like set up years ago and then they sell them, and then it is so frustrating though, because first of all, why would somebody pay for mine when they can get this what they see as the exact same thing for $10 or $15? And secondly, it just floods the results. Like, if you're trying to actually buy something and you legitimately want vintage and you're savvy enough that you need to search for it, this just muddies up the whole search results, and it's hard to find. It gets buried. Look at the prices that they're putting on it. It's just disgusting, and it's really upsetting to me. So
yep, knock off Nelson shirts.
Yeah. Anyway, I hate it. I wish eBay could figure out how to combat this more quickly, because the last couple of years it's gotten really bad. Like, if you try to search anything, vintage t-shirt, it is so full of this garbage. I hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it. All right.
How do you really feel?
I hate it.
Okay. You done?
No. Okay.
This isn't super exciting. I just wanted to say this is a brand that I pick up all the time. If you find Oakley hoodies and Oakley sweatshirts, it's probably not a brand that you think to pick up, but I have yet to sell any of them for less than $50. And this is really why I wanted to talk about it. This is just a basic hoodie, sweatshirt. I definitely got this at the bins.
What color is this?
It's like a faded black. Why are you... Up close, you're going to see it looks more faded. Listen, Muck, you. Muck, you.
Quit.
So, I got this at the bins. I probably paid about $2 for it. I've had it for a while. I've probably had it for 3 or 4 months, but usually I sell them fairly quickly. This might even be longer than 3 or 4 months, but I'm not sure. Usually I sell them pretty quickly, but this sold for $63. $63, $2 into 63. I'll take it all day long. And Oakley grips happen to be the Oakley, the glasses. That's mostly glasses, but they do sell clothing. These actually were about, the Oakley grips are about BMX handlebar handles. That's
cool,
what the grips mean. So
very cool. All right. Next up for me. So this is actually a really cool sale. I went into yesterday's Fits like last week, 2 weeks ago. I remember exactly when it was. It was when we came back from Washington, and I bought a ton of t-shirts, all for $2 a piece. Some vintage stuff, some not vintage stuff, and some in between. And so I was just trying to get volume, and so I picked up a lot of stuff. I picked this one up because I was like, well, it's a cool graphic, and I think I can make some money on it or whatever.
It is a cool graphic.
And so I bought it and I listed it. Now I listed it for $69.99, and sometimes my stuff will immediately go on sale. Like, it's supposed to go on sale like as soon as I list it. But sometimes it can take like a number of hours. And so this one, it had a watcher right away, and then like maybe an hour later, it sold for $69.99. Like, I meant for it to go on sale to $48.99. I figured I'd send out offers for $40 and then drop it down even further. But it sold for $70, and I was able to find like some comps, and it wasn't like I misunderstood like what the value of this shirt was. So it was just a really nice fast sale for something. It sold like the same day I listed it, and I paid $2 for it.
$2 is $2.
$2. So I was very happy about that. Next.
This is one that I picked up in Colorado. This actually came from a private pick that we did at our friend's house in Aurora, Colorado. We picked out of his garage. So this actually cost me $2. I think everything that he had in this particular area was $2.
$4.
$4. Okay, thank you.
I remember
it was $4. That. So this skirt is a skirt that is handmade. It's an upcycled skirt. If you scroll down through some of the photos, it's pretty heavy, but it was basically a denim skirt that someone cut and attached the pockets to, and then they velcroed in this underskirt of like this like handkerchief pattern or print, and it's almost like it's got a little kick pleat. It's perfect for someone who's going to square dance. Like, it just
super cute
because it shows everything. It's super cute. This with a pair of cowboy boots. I love the whole thing. However, it's super tiny. It's an extra small. It's a very tiny waist. It's going to be like my kid size. My kid who is 31 and like a 00. That's her size. So because of the sizing, it was going to have to find a specific buyer. So I've probably had this. We bought this in November, so it has not been listed that long. And it sold for the price you see there, $63, the sale price. I love this skirt. I wish it were a little bit bigger. I probably would have kept it. It's just so fun.
Yeah. All right, next up, I have this Polo Ralph Lauren blazer. Now, it did not sell for that price. I found this at the bins not super long ago, like within the last month. I paid maybe, $3-4 for it. And I was really hoping, like, yes, I would have loved to have sold it for like 150.
What color is that? Why is it so dark?
Because it's black. Mm-hmm. Because that's what color it is. Freaking weirdo. If it was yours, you'd be like, oh, let's look at this close up, and it'd be like light gray.
Rude.
Anyway.
Rude.
Yep. So I had sent out a bunch of offers for like $100, and then I had somebody who was offering like 70, 75, and I went back and forth a couple times, and they came up to 85, and it was sold through the promoted listing. So there goes another 8%. So I was frustrated, but guys, I'm trying to turn things around. And what is it that text says?
Some of the money all of the time versus all of the money some of the time.
I'm like, it's $85. I freaking got it at the bins. Don't be stupid. And so I begrudgingly accepted it. Yeah. So got 85.
Don't be. It makes me want to sing some Shania Twain.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Go ahead.
This was a purchase that I made back in like the end of June or July. I bought this at an estate sale in Phoenix that I went to when we were in Phoenix. And I paid $5. I paid $5 a piece. I bought a whole bunch of dresses. Again, super cute. It was great. Unfortunately, we got there just a little too late. There was a woman that had bought out most of the closet, which was all vintage stuff. I got stuck with maybe 15 or 20 items that I picked up. But they only paid $5 a piece. The thing is that they were all super tiny. These are all also extra small. Mm-hmm. So I did take an offer on this. I took an offer for $75. Really super cute dress. Just tiny. And tiny. But yeah, it was vintage 60s. That's it. That's all I got to say about that. Angel sleeves are big. The whole fairy core thing is really big right now.
Alexis is yelling at me. Us. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this wasn't like a huge sale or anything, but this is one of the shirts that I got. I had bought like over 100 shirts from Jen Goodale and for $5 a piece, and I got a couple of John Deere shirts, and I just wanted to say pretty much anything John Deere sells, it is just one of those brands that it's a good bet you're going to be able to sell it pretty quickly. And so I paid $5 for it, and it sold for $44.09. That's like my weird 10% off sale makes it look like when you have it priced at $48.99. Anyway, just a dumb John Deere Play in the Dirt t-shirt, sold it for $44.09. So if you see John Deere stuff, definitely pick it up.
Is that shirt black or brown?
Do you need help? What is wrong with you?
It looks brown.
It is brown.
All right.
Jeez. Anyway, I will say John Deere, I think, is one of those companies on the Vero list.
Very much so.
So don't ever list it with new with tags. If you find it new with tags, list it as used. And be more aware if it's like a fake or
make sure it's
just
licensed.
a knock. Yeah, so like this has the John Deere tag. It's not like a fake one. And it's used. So, but yeah, if you ever find new with tags, don't list it new with tags. That's generally the good rule when it comes to anything that is on the Vero list, is to avoid selling it new with tags.
Yeah, actually, Jane asked a question. If you could tell us your store name.
Yeah, put a link to your Lorna. Put a link to your eBay store.
You have a wrench. You should be able to put a link. There are some people that may want to buy from your store. Versus donate to the GoFundMe. So we're going to put a link to the store after this video is over under in the chat and the information for the show itself. But if you could pop it in the chat, that'd be great.
Yep. All right. Next up.
Okay, so this is actually a men's shirt.
Inappropriate.
A men's shirt that was photographed on a female. Listen, I don't have this photographer anymore, okay? She was awful. But, you know, you got to do what you got to do.
So this is for dudes who want to blaze the nips.
Yeah, I don't know. It sold, is all I'm going to say. This was a bins buy. I paid about $1 for it. Super lightweight, kind of a mesh shirt. Very much like a clubbing type of shirt, see-through. Again, one of those things that I grabbed because it said made in Italy. I always want to buy it. You know, you want to buy anything, almost anything that says made in Italy, made in France, that type of thing, made in Spain.
Anything that's
generally
not
speaking, if it's not the norm, they, you know, it sells better and it's better made. So that wasn't a brand that I was necessarily familiar with, but if you look it up, their price ranges go everywhere. There's high end, there's lower end. I just knew that it was a cool clubby looking shirt. Yeah. So it sold for the price you see there. I haven't had it listed all that long, maybe about 6 months. And I know some of you think that's a long period of time, but when you're selling vintage, 6 months is not a long time. So it sold for $105. I paid about $1 for it. It's going off to, I don't remember where it went to, but
I don't know. Anyway, so this sale I was really excited about. I bought a whole bunch of hats from Jesse and paid $5 a piece for them. And I really, really liked like the design of this hat. It's just a really cool floral all over print. And I've sold probably like 3 or 4 of the hats so far. You know, they're not moving super fast, but it could be how I have them priced. But I sold this one for $44.09. But what's even more exciting about it is it went to France. And I just like the idea of some French dude wearing a Southwest Pipeline Las Vegas hat, vintage hat, in France. I don't know. I love to think about like the journey that the pieces that I find take, you know, whether it's going back to San Diego to the Old Globe Theater, or it's going across the world
to some guy in France
who just thinks it's
rando
a really cool
advertising hat.
Right? I don't know. It makes me happy. It's just so much more interesting than like fast fashion these days and just the garbage that's out there for people to buy, to wear. Every piece in my mind like this, it has history to it. So
no, I agree.
I agree. All right, next up.
This is just a pair of vintage 70s, exactly what you see there. I always pick these up. Mm-hmm. Short shorts, the gym shorts, coach shorts, that's what they call them. Think about every gym teacher from the 70s and 80s wearing these short shorts. They also have, I don't put this in the title, but they do also have a bit of a gay interest for them. There's a lot of men in the gay community that really like the whole short shorts and tight shorts thing. Neither here nor there, but just know that it's a popular commodity to buy and sell these type of shorts. So yeah, when you find them, grab them. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, we were like, Lorna, we don't even remember what your store, you're posting your Etsy store there. Lauren's got some cool stuff too. Okay. Look at this awesome sweater, guys.
That is pretty cool.
I think this one went internationally too. I can't remember if it went to potentially France as well. I know I had a couple things go to France. Anyway, $62.99. I found this at the bins. It's a Liz Claiborne sweater. Elizabeth.
So it's definitely a women's sweater, but you listed it under men's because the style is unisex.
Who's going to buy it.
The style is very unisex.
That's more likely who's going to buy it and more likely who's going to spend up more for it. Because dudes just see what they see and they like it and they buy it. I think women tend to be more likely to kind of shop around potentially. That's just my opinion. So,
but it had spots on the cuff and everything, and it still sold.
Yep, for $62.99 plus shipping and everything. So, but it's a really cool sweater.
It is. It's a cool pattern.
Yep. Little Southwest.
And honestly, crew neck pullover sweaters, cardigan sweaters. There are so many sweaters that, I mean, they really are unisex in style. It doesn't matter whether a man or a woman's wearing that. It's a crew neck sweater, whatever.
I just think about whatever reach the most people, because a dude is very likely not going to be shopping in the under women's.
But women will shop.
in men's. So if it's going to appeal to both, then I'm going to put it in men's. I'm not.
The good thing about Etsy is Etsy does allow you to double category, and you can do unisex and men's, or
some of the stuff they're only going with unisex.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's fine too. I just want the most eyes.
That's actually one change that I wish eBay would incorporate as well, but
yeah.
I'm not going to wish for any item-specific category changes on eBay.
And a lot of times, too,
because that always creates a cluster when they do it.
With men's stuff, regardless of whatever the content is, like whatever the graphics are or whatever, I'm going to say men's as opposed to unisex, because it's like, I want people to know how it's
styled.
Not styled, like the manufacturing of it, how they made it, the construction of it.
Gotcha.
That it's, it's made in that certain way, but whatever. What you got here?
This is a UNLV sweatshirt. We have tons of UNLV merchandise here in Vegas, and I don't pick all of it up, but I do pick up the stuff that is a little bit nicer made. Now, here's the thing. This is a brand. The brand is Coliseum. This is not vintage. This is pretty prevalent. They probably could sell this about the same price brand new in the UNLV bookstore. I don't know that that's where this one came from. Doesn't matter. But I picked this up at the bins. Most of our bins people ignore UNLV stuff because it's so prevalent. And I think a lot of them do pop-ups and sell locally, and there's so much of it, it's just not worth them picking up. But I sold this on Poshmark for full price for $70. Nice. So $2 or $3 into $70. I'll sell the new UNLV stuff all day long.
Tracy wants to know if we use Ground Advantage shipping for USPS. Yeah, actually, I use almost everything of mine now is cheaper going Ground Advantage.
Yeah.
I actually really like it a lot because, first of all, it gives you $100 insurance on stuff that's under £1, which is before you had to either buy insurance or bump up to priority. And it's actually generally the cheaper way for us to ship stuff across the country.
I don't care as much about the insurance because we all know the insurance will only pay on a lost package that's been scanned.
That's all I care about.
But, USPS insurance does not pay for damaged packages anymore and hasn't in several years. So the insurance aspect is not important to me. But yes, Katy does free shipping, so she'll ship it any way she wants, but most of it is going Ground Advantage. I charge a flat rate shipping fee on all of my items, and same thing, I put it as standard shipping. I'm going to ship whatever the cheapest way to ship is, and generally for me that is Ground Advantage these days. So
see, and for me, I pretty much am only selling clothing, so I don't worry about the damage part. I'm not selling breakables. So if something's gonna happen to something, it's gonna be that it disappeared.
Yeah.
And I had that happen a couple months ago, and guess what? I got my money. USPS sent me my check.
Yep. Tracy, I'm not sure. Does it end up being free shipping? No, I don't do free shipping. I just put a standard. You need to create shipping policies. I think we talked about this before. You need to create shipping policies. There's only 3 ways you can set up your shipping. You can either do free shipping, which means that you can ship it any way you want, and your buyer is, you're paying for the shipping. You can do calculated shipping, which then you give a couple of choices, and whichever way the buyer chooses is how you have to ship it. I don't ever recommend calculated shipping unless you live in the middle of the country because you are charging too much to a lot of places.
You definitely don't want to do that.
And you don't want to do it in Rhode Island.
The coast.
You're on a coast. And then the other thing is to create business policies and create your own shipping policies. Maybe you'll have items 0 to 1 pound and 1 to 2 pounds and 3 to 4 pounds. You have to figure out what that is and your flat shipping amount. And that's how I do mine. I do anything under 1 pound is $5.95. Any smaller packages that are up to 2 or 3 pounds that I can put in a padded mailer or in a regular mailer, I charge $8.95. And now with Ground Advantage, I'm making a couple of bucks on those sometimes. And then I have set other ones like $14.95, and which is usually bedding, $29.95 and $49.95. So I do those type of things. Yeah, Tracy, you're checking something off incorrectly. I couldn't tell you what it is, but you are doing something incorrectly because there should never be free shipping unless you specify free shipping. So you're putting that specification somewhere in the way that you're creating the listing incorrectly.
Mm-hmm. All right, next up for me is this Rhythm Devils Grateful Dead t-shirt. I've had this for quite a while. If you remember when I bought all those 13 Grateful Dead t-shirts, I think this is the last piece out of that. I didn't sell it for that price. I actually, the person offered $120, and I was like, heck yeah, through the eBay offer system, which when you accept or agree to an amount, it's, it's kind of like with Depop where they may or may not actually end up buying it. But I was very happy because they did end up buying it for $120. I made a really good amount of money on that buy. It did take too long to get all the pieces out, but I'm very happy with it.
Is that the last of it?
I think that's the last shirt. I think that's it. I had a bunch of really cool stuff in that buy.
You did.
So $120, but it's just a really cool, interesting. It's an interesting tag I'd never seen before I got this shirt, but it's just a cool shirt.
I've never seen the tag since either.
What you got here?
Okay, so this I had actually had for quite a while. This actually came from, you can tell a little bit by the yellow haze on the photo and the invisible mannequin type photos. These came from my acquisition of the Clothing Vault, which was in October of 2020. So I've had this listed for quite a while. At this point, for quite a while now, everything is gravy. So I accept almost every offer on these items. I have sent out aggressive offers. I think I had this listed for around $200 and someone sent an offer for $100. I was like, yes, please get this out of my damn house. So sold for $100. It's a really nice coat. I only have a few left now, and I'm really excited to that it's out of my house. It's big, it's heavy. I'm happy that it went for $100, and it's just about 5 pounds, which is great. I can package it in anything for Poshmark. So yeah, take it.
All right, my last one. Look at this, guys. Whoop, 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 whoop. I had bought a bunch of racing jackets from Jesse at Yesterday's Fits. And 2 of them were these Ford Shelby Cobra racing jackets. The other one was like more of a maroon, a darker red, and it had
sold that one already.
Yeah, it had a lot of flaws. Like once I didn't realize it when I picked it up, but I paid him like $30 a piece for them, which is a steal. And actually, he didn't realize like how much they actually sell for. Like he figured out probably that I was going to sell them for like $100. But he didn't realize like how much they sold for. But when I got home, the other one it was like the whole side was split on the seam. And I probably should have had Crystal fix it for me, but I was just like, whatever, I'm just going to list it. And it also had like a bunch of fading on it. So I ended up selling that one for $100. And then this one, I was very excited to see it just sold for $270 on Etsy. Now I had another jacket that I had also paid $30 for. And then when I went to go list it, realized there were actually quite a few out there and it wasn't worth as much. And I sold it this week for $50. So that one I pretty much just broke even once you figure fees and all that stuff. So I don't have to feel quite so bad that
you got one good one out of it.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, I buy so much stuff from Jesse, and I very, very rarely try to get him to lower whatever he says he'll sell something for. And so, sometimes I'm going to make some crazy money on something, and sometimes I'm going to have stuff of his I bought years ago and is still sitting in my store. So it goes the way it goes.
It happens.
But these jackets, seriously, if you ever see these Ford Shelby Cobra racing jackets, they can sell for really big money. And a lot of times they actually have a tag on the inside that says Ford Motor Company. But this is definitely one of those jackets. It's the exact same tag underneath, same arm.
I will say that I have several of those blank patches. And I'm just waiting to run into a blank jacket like this, and I'm going to put a vintage Cobra patch on it.
All right.
Sell it.
You're going to fake it?
There's no faking. The patch is vintage. The jacket's vintage. You put the two together.
I agree. I'm just saying this jacket is actually a Ford Motor Company jacket. Like
they're not all though.
Right. Victoria. I'm saying this jacket.
I know. I'm not talking about that jacket.
I get it. Anyway.
I'm talking about my hypothetical jacket.
Stop fighting online, Mom, Dad.
All
right. I'm going to get out of here. Here we go. Anyway, those are our sales highlights for the week.
Some good, some not so good, some mediocre. They're just things to keep an eye out for and why. That's generally what we talk about.
I've had a couple of pretty cool sales today already. Nothing like over $100, but close. So I'm feeling pretty good about this week. This week going in, my payout actually on eBay is not going to be that great for this week. I think it ends up being like maybe $700, which is a little bit of a bummer. It's like I remember once I had like a $2,000 payout, and you used to have that all the time.
I used to get like $2,000 to $2,500 payout every week.
The good old days.
Yep.
Anyway, so I titled the show Diversified Sourcing Solutions. So first of all, as far as our goals for last week, I've continued to hit my 10 listings every single day. We did put out a sourcing video, a haul video, as we said we were going to. So everything's good there, and so my goals are pretty much the same for this next week as far as making sure that I've got stuff to list for every single day. I've got a bunch of stuff that I had already photographed last week, so I'm good to go for like another week. But talking about sourcing, in order to kind of keep up on these goals, we have to constantly be sourcing. And we could go to the bins every day and probably get more than enough stuff. Mm-hmm. But I've found, at least for me, with now having to keep on top of this, it's like I can't just do one thing, and I don't think I would want to be at the bins constantly. It's like
it's exhausting.
I have to have a variety of places I'm getting stuff from. Mm-hmm. And And a lot of that just has to do with relationships. Like we've both been buying, like doing bulk buys from other people, and we just did like a really big bulk buy from Joe and Robin in Florida. I think you got, how many pieces did you get?
I have about 170 pieces coming. And between the pricing of the items plus shipping from Florida on 100, shipping from Florida is expensive, and the boxes are big and heavy. Even UPS coming from Florida to Vegas, where we are, is hefty. So I spent almost as much on shipping as I did on the items. So my total was $550 for about 170 items, which works out to be, for 175 items or so, works out to be about $3.33 an item. And then I pay $3 for my lister to list, and then I pay $1 to my cross poster to cross post everything to all the platforms. Works out to be about $1 per item. So I'm in $7.33 per item before I even list it.
Yeah.
So even on the mediocre stuff, I have to sell for at least $30. And because my average sale price is always hovering around the $50 range, I may sell some things for less. You got to look at big picture. Some things I'll sell for a lot less, and some things I sell for a lot more. So if the average sale price does hover and stay around $40 to $50, then that means I'm still doing well. However, I need to process the items when they come. These have not been laundered, although everything has been was in storage, so should be in good shape and not have to do a lot of laundering. I know there were some items that had issues, so I'm going to have to do some spot cleaning on those special items, and then get everything ready for my photographer and all that kind of stuff. So for me, trying to get a minimum of 100 new items listed every single week, this makes life easier. So I'm still working through my store buyout from Chrissy in Portland. I still have about another 200 items of hers to list, although they're almost all done being photographed and drafted. And then I have this 175 items coming, which is about not quite 3 weeks of work, but between 2 and 3 weeks. So I have some time. I'm spending more money in one bulk to get the items, but then I'm not having to source elsewhere for a while, which means more time I have available to work.
Well, and I used to, I would get a bunch of stuff, and then I would, list. And then there'd be times where, okay, I ran out of stuff to list, but I'd need to go source. And so I'd have to go out and source for it. But now with the way I'm doing things, it's like I have to be ahead of the game. I have to, I think I've got like another 60 things I can list that I photographed for my last batch of like over 140 pieces. So I have that, but it's like I need to already be thinking about, okay, I can't wait till that's all gone and then go to the bins. Because a lot of times, you can go to the bins and it could be an off day and maybe I find 5 things. Or maybe I find 20 things. I want to be doing batches of at least 100 items where I'm photographing it and doing all that stuff. And so anytime I have an opportunity to get like a big chunk of stuff all at once, whether it's going to Yesterday's Fits or going, having somebody like Robin sell it to me, I'm getting 53 t-shirts from them. Robin went through and showed them all to me. There's some really cool vintage. She was like, $2 a piece for any of the ones you like. And I could have just cherry picked and just taken the best stuff for $2 a piece. But first of all, I do need the volume. And second of all, like I've talked about this a little before, like when I buy stuff from Jen, it's like I need to be willing to take some of the stuff that's just kind of like middle of the road that maybe I'm not going to make a bunch of money on, but it's like I want to make it worthwhile for them to be offering me this stuff. And so I am going to take a wider range of items and stuff where I'm like, maybe I'll only make $20 on that piece. But there are some really cool pieces. She had like a few really, really cool pieces that have some condition issues, like some weird marks on them. I'm hoping I can get taken care of because there's some really cool items in there that I might be able to sell for quite a bit. But I got to buy everything. I'm not going to just sit there and only take these top 10 pieces.
And I did the same thing. I bought a lot of things that were just bread and butter pieces, all vintage, but some pieces that were like, mediocre pieces. And then there's a handful that I'm really excited about. And then the rest of it is just really good, solid. Middle of the road stuff.
But that's the kind of sourcing opportunity you want to have, because you're never going to find like that perfect source where you can just walk in and scoop it all into your bags and then every single piece is a home run. Like that's just not,
that's life. That's not life.
It's not reality. So the best sourcing that you can possibly do, the best sourcing connections you can possibly have is where it is that good mixture where you're going to get some really good stuff along with the mediocre.
So between the two of us, I mean, we purchased, almost 250 pieces from Joe and Robin, and that's 250 pieces that they didn't have to list and try to sell and source and photograph or anything like that, because neither one of them really like doing clothing.
Yeah.
And they've been doing an awful lot of like storage locker buyouts and things like that. So it ended up being a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, 100%. So I paid, I got 53 t-shirts, $2 a piece. That's $106. All of my shirts went into one box, but some of Vicky's stuff is in there. And so that box alone was like 90 something dollars. So when the box actually does come, like I'll figure out like what percentage of that weight was just her stuff. So I don't know entirely like how much, I was, hey, I give you free stuff all the time that I buy when I go out sourcing.
Anyway, nobody cares about that. I'm just going to get in. I just wanted to say, hey, Yuri is driving.
Yuri!
So she has no volume, so she can't tell that we're talking to her, but she's coming to Vegas.
Why don't you click on it so everybody can see what you're talking about?
Family road trip.
Yeah. I'm excited. We better be getting to see you, Yuri.
Well, we're going to see her next month anyway.
I don't care if she's here. I want to see
our
her.
Trip. But yes, she's with her family. If you have time, if you see this, Yuri,
I'm going to come out and see you, and I'm not going to let Vicky come with me because she is not acting excited. That she's just like, so rude. I'll see her later. Meh.
So rude.
So rude. You're the rude one. You're the
All right.
rude Judy.
Will, good to see you in the chat too. Haven't seen you in a bit. Anyway, I mean, that's pretty much for the week. That's what I got.
Well, and so also with the diversified sourcing solutions, I'm telling you guys, like maybe put in the comments after the fact or in the chat, like some of the ways that you source. Do you only have one method of sourcing? Do you think about having like multiple different things? Because the thing is, going back to the whole relationships thing, when you put it out there, the kind of stuff you're looking for, when you treat people well, when you kind of foster those relationships, there'll come a point where those opportunities just kind of fall into your lap. And I know like Liz is a really good example. Like she's really good at like talking to people and putting it out there. And sometimes she'll have like 3, 4, 5 different opportunities all in the same week where she gets this influx of a crazy amount of inventory. But that all has to do with like kind of setting up those relationships and making sure that you're taking care of them and you're not just like using people for what they can give you, because people aren't dumb. Right. They figure that out real quick.
I'm always very honest in my relationship with people. I have purchased from a lot of viewers and a lot of people in our chat that reach out to me when they have items, 2 different Lori's that are generally in our chat and you know, that have sold things to me. My friend Callie has sold things to me. And basically, just I'm very honest. This is what I can afford to spend plus shipping in order for it to be worth my while to sell the item, for me to make enough profit for it to be worth it. And if that's not okay with you, that's okay. You're not going to hurt my feelings by saying I want more money for it. I'm okay with that. You're entitled to make your money any way you want to, but I'm just very fair and upfront. And this is the dollar amount that I'm willing to pay. And if it's more than what I can spend, I'll say it doesn't make sense for me right now. Thank you for reaching out to me, and I appreciate that. Have I purchased a lot of mediocre stuff from people over the years because of those relationships? Yes, I have. And it's because I value the relationships, like Katie says. Sometimes I make a little bit of money. Sometimes I almost only break even on some items. Yeah. However, I am going to be that person that they think of when they're trying to get rid of items.
Well, I get great opportunities through Yesterday's Fits with Jesse, because he knows that he can count on me to buy stuff and to not give him a hard time and not try to like bring the numbers down. And so there's been a lot of times when he'll reach out and be like, I'll give you first dibs. Like before I have a sale coming up, you can come in and get it for the sale price, first dibs. Or I want to get rid of a bunch of this stuff. You can come in and check it out. You have first dibs. And it's like, it's because we have that relationship. By the way, Yuri's kids, you know Yuri's kids think that we're celebrities, right?
That's true.
Because they're really young. And so they just assume anybody who's on the screen is like famous. And so it like blows their minds that she's friends. Because, you know, like they care about reselling. They just know literally that our faces are on like the TV sometimes.
Because she watches watches our channel, so they think we're famous people.
Yeah,
which is funny. So let's
hello, Susie.
Let's hopefully we get to see these little cutie pies. Yeah. And Susie, our friend Susie, was here in town for ASD this week. We were able to see Susie and get to dinner one night, and it was great to hang out with you. I'm sorry we did not get to see you the second night. We had a lot of fun hanging out and giggling with you.
One of my newfound favorite pastimes is actually making Susie laugh. So she's a good audience. She's
a good audience.
Yeah, and she also makes me laugh a lot. So she was a lot of fun.
She's very funny. I say all the time, she is the sweetest little thing, and she looks so sweet and innocent, but she's got an edge. She's got an edge. She's
she'll
funny.
She'll F you up.
She's funny. She will also F-bomb every once in a while where you're like, where did that come from? I know I threw her under the bus. But she's so funny.
Yeah,
anyway.
You don't want to mess with her. Other thing, Crystal, I honestly, because Vicky doesn't need to source as much lately, even though I keep telling her she should come to the bins and look for hard goods. I definitely need motivation to get there, especially when it's like, oh, I know I've got stuff coming. But this week I do want to go to the bins once or twice, but I like to go right when they open. So I don't know if that fits into your schedule, but it would be cool if you were there at the same time as me, and maybe Vicky would even be jealous and get FOMO, and then she would go too. So we should arrange that.
Yeah, GoFundMe does take a small fee, Alexis, but it doesn't take a ton anymore, especially when you choose to do it as that's just the payment processing fee, especially when it's put up as a medical fundraiser, which is how I did it. It does not take a ton, just so you know.
I'm sure she would be totally fine with you directly sending her something.
Yeah, of course.
Anyway, that's pretty much it for our show, guys. Just I don't know. I need a nap or something, but I got to do some work. I got to get some listing done. What about you? What are you doing after this?
I have to get a little bit of listing done as well. I did get some done earlier today. And then my daughter is actually currently at the ER having an echocardiogram and having some heart testing done because there's something going on with her heart right now. So that's why I keep looking at my phone, because she keeps texting me about it. 31, she's like her mother. So now she's spiraling and saying she's 31 and now needs to have open heart surgery. And that's not the case. Yeah. That's not what anyone has said. So I told her to stop being,
sure it's going to be
stop being Chicken Little, calm down.
Like that.
She's very tiny. But we do have some heart issues and valve issues in our family history. So I know that's what she's a little concerned about. So yeah, I got to find out how my kid is and get some stuff listed. And
my prediction is that you're going to work until about 4, and then you're going to yell through my closed door. You're going to yell, "I'm done working for the day," and then you're going to go get in bed and watch TV.
That sounds about right.
And then you're gonna scroll Instagram and Facebook Reels, and you're gonna send me all the ones either that you think are funny, or usually it's dogs or food that you want me to make for you.
There you go. Yeah, that's my afternoon.
It's generally not her sending it to me and being like, "Look what I'm going to make for you, baby." It's like, "Look at this thing that you could make for me."
Yeah, this looks good. You should make this. So we all know what my feed looks like on the Instagram or the TikTok. It's all about dogs and snarky people reselling and food.
Yeah. All right, guys, we really appreciate you hanging out with us and giving up part of your Sunday to just hang out here and chat with us and be a part of this.
Thanks for tuning in. And just so you guys, just a quick reminder, anyone that's tuning in toward the end of the show, please go back and watch the first 10 minutes if possible. We do discuss and talk about our friend Lorna's cancer journey, and there is a GoFundMe linked below if you are so inclined and able to help in any way. We genuinely appreciate it. And if you are not able to help, even talking about it and sharing, you never know where those shares are going to end up and how much that can help in your stead. So we appreciate it and hope you guys have a great week.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.